Oh, I thought I knew what betrayal felt like, but nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the night my boyfriend, Malcolm, decided to humiliate me for sport. What unfolded next wasn't just a breakup. It was a masterclass in manipulation and my journey to reclaiming every ounce of my power. It all started subtly about 3 months ago. Malcolm began this infuriating habit of dismissing every single one of my concerns as just a joke. My gut told me something was off, but I kept pushing it down. The real pattern, the truly insidious one, began in September. I finally gathered the courage to ask him, gently, not to flirt so openly with other girls at parties. His response? A dismissive laugh, followed by telling his friends I was obsessed with him. And just like that, Dean, Randall, and Curtis, his loyal cronies, found it absolutely hilarious. Suddenly, whenever I was around, their comments about clingy girlfriends would echo through the room. Malcolm, sensing my discomfort, seemed to take it as a challenge. He started testing boundaries with an almost scientific precision. I'd watch him dance far too close with other women at bars, only to shoot me a smug wink from across the room. Then it escalated. He'd brazenly hand out his number to random women, right in front of my face. When I tried to confront him later, my voice shaking with a mix of hurt and disbelief, he'd just shake his head, like I was completely unhinged. "You're being completely dramatic," he'd say. "It's just normal social interaction. Just dancing." And every single time, without fail, his friends would back him up, their smirks mirroring his own. It was a suffocating, constant barrage of being told my feelings were invalid. Then came Curtis's birthday party last weekend. Malcolm's ex, Sabrina, waltzed in, draped in a tight red dress that screamed for attention. I knew she'd been messaging him for weeks. He'd claimed they were just being friendly, a familiar lie I was tired of hearing. But seeing her there, touching his arm, her fingers tracing his bicep as they talked, a cold dread settled in my stomach. Malcolm kept glancing at me, that infuriating smirk playing on his lips, as if he was enjoying my silent agony. And of course, Dean and Randall, like vultures, had their phones out, ready to record. The party was packed, buzzing with people from our college, a sea of faces that would bear witness to whatever was about to happen. Malcolm had been drinking steadily since we arrived at 8. He kept buying Sabrina drinks, completely shutting me out for hours. Every attempt I made to join their conversation, to even just exist near them, was met with his turn back or an abrupt change of subject. He made me feel invisible, a ghost haunting my own relationship. Around 11 p.m., my heart seized in my chest. He grabbed Sabrina by the waist, pulling her flush against him, and then he kissed her. A full, open-mouthed, tongue-deep kiss, his hands gripping her hips with a possessive force that made my blood run cold. It lasted for what felt like an eternity, at least 30 seconds. And then, Dean and Randall started chanting, their voices cutting through the music like knives. She deserved it. She deserved it. They yelled, their phone cameras pointed directly at me, recording my shattered expression. People turned. Some laughed, their faces cruel. Others looked uncomfortable, but none of them, not a single one, said a word. Malcolm finally pulled away from Sabrina, his eyes locking onto mine. "Just a joke, babe," he called out, a triumphant grin plastered on his face. Sabrina giggled, whispering something in his ear, and he nodded, squeezing her waist again. The world seemed to blur. My legs moved on their own, carrying me through the crowd toward the front door. People parted, staring, their pity or amusement washing over me. Before I even reached my car, my phone began to vibrate violently. Text after text flooded my screen, Malcolm's name popping up faster than I could even process. By the time I got home, there were 15 messages. Asterisk, "You're ruining my night. Come back right now," and apologize to Sabrina. "Stop being so dramatic about everything. Everyone at this party thinks you're completely psycho now. This is exactly why guys don't want serious girlfriends. You totally embarrass me in front of all my friends. Learn to take a harmless joke for once in your life." Asterisk. My hands were shaking as I drove home, the words burning themselves into my mind. I turned my phone off, needing a complete escape from his toxic control. But it wasn't over. Sunday morning, I checked it again. Malcolm had posted 6 Instagram stories between midnight and 3 a.m. Videos of him grinding on random girls, close-up shots of women dancing against him, each one captioned with variations of, "This is what happens when you try to control me," and "Freedom feels so good right now." The final story showed him doing shots with 3 different girls. The caption? "Single life hits different." He tagged Dean, Randall, and Curtis in every single post, broadcasting his cruelty for all to see. At 3 a.m. that Sunday morning, Malcolm showed up at my apartment building. He pounded on the front door for 5 straight minutes, yelling my name loud enough to wake the entire building. When I finally opened it, the stench of alcohol, cigarettes, and multiple perfumes assaulted me. His button-down shirt was wrinkled, stained with something dark, his hair sticking up in wild directions. "You're a psycho girlfriend," he slurred, swaying in my doorway. "Every guy cheats on their girl eventually. At least I did it to your face instead of sneaking around behind your back like some coward." I told him to leave, my voice a strained whisper, but he just laughed, leaning against the doorframe. "You'll forgive me by Tuesday like you always do," he said, that familiar, sickening confidence in his voice. "Remember when I made out with your sister's friend at Christmas? You got over that real quick, didn't you?" Then, he stumbled back to his car and drove away, leaving me trembling and violated. Monday afternoon, a message popped up on Instagram. It was Dean. *, "You're way too uptight about everything. Malcolm was teaching you an important lesson about trust and boundaries. You should be grateful he cares enough to help you grow as a person. *, I read it twice, my stomach churning with pure disgust, then closed the app. 20 minutes later, Celeste, Curtis's girlfriend, messaged me. She'd seen their group chat, and she forwarded me 23 screenshots. Malcolm, in graphic detail, was bragging about putting me in my place. "She'll come crawling back like always," he wrote. "They all do when you show them who's really the boss," Randall replied with crying laughing emojis. Curtis chimed in. "Savage move," Bro Dean added. "She definitely needed that reality check." Then Malcolm sent a shirtless photo of himself in bed, messy hair and all. "Single life is treating me incredibly well already." More laughing emojis followed from his friends. By the way, if you're as stunned as I was by his audacity, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what happens next. Malcolm thought he knew exactly who I was. He thought I was still that same naive girl who apologized after our first fight 2 years ago, the girl who blamed herself when he joked about my weight in front of his entire family last Christmas. Right then, he was probably out celebrating with his friends, basking in his perceived victory. He had absolutely no idea what was coming for him. First update *. So, remember how Malcolm said I'd come crawling back by Tuesday? Well, guess what happened on Tuesday? Absolutely nothing. I didn't text him, didn't call him, didn't even check his social media. And apparently, this broke his entire brain. By Wednesday morning, I had 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. The messages started normal for Malcolm, the usual gaslighting. "Hey babe, you're being really immature about this whole thing." Then they got progressively more desperate. *, I know you're reading these messages. Why are you ignoring me when I'm trying to fix this? This silent treatment thing is getting really old. *, by Thursday, he was practically having a meltdown through text. *, I can't believe you're actually going to throw away 2 years over one harmless joke. Sabrina meant absolutely nothing to me. You have to know that. I was drunk, and my friends were egging me on. You know how they get. *. Here's the thing that really gets me. He kept calling it a joke. Like making out with his ex while his friends filmed me and chanted, "She deserved it," was just some hilarious prank I should be grateful for. The sheer audacity of this man is truly something else. Friday afternoon, he showed up at my workplace. My co-worker Miranda came to find me in the break room, her eyes wide, telling me there was some guy in the lobby asking for me, looking really agitated. I peeked around the corner. There he was, Malcolm, pacing back and forth, running his hands through his hair like he always does when he's stressed. I walked out there, and his whole face lit up, like he thought I was finally ready to forgive him, to fall back into his toxic embrace. He started talking immediately. "Thank God. I've been trying to reach you for days. We need to talk about this situation and figure out how to move forward together." My blood ran cold, but my voice was steady. I told him we could talk right there in the lobby, since he'd already made such a public spectacle of our relationship. His expression changed real quick, the forced concern draining from his face. "Don't be like this," he said, his voice laced with annoyance. "You're being really unfair. I came here to apologize and work things out like adults." So, I asked him, what exactly was he apologizing for? And guys, this man actually said he was sorry that I misunderstood his joke and got my feelings hurt. Not sorry for kissing his ex. Not sorry for humiliating me. Sorry that I was too sensitive to appreciate his sense of humor. I told him his apology was noted, and he could leave now. He started getting louder then, saying I was being completely unreasonable and making this whole thing way bigger than it needed to be. "Every couple goes through stuff like this," he insisted. "It's called growing together and learning to trust each other." Miranda was watching from behind the reception desk, along with half the office at this point. Malcolm noticed everyone staring and finally lowered his voice. He stepped closer, his eyes intense, and told me he wasn't leaving until we worked this out properly. That's when I realized something crucial, something that hit me like a physical blow. He genuinely believed I would eventually cave, just like I always had before. The old me would have been mortified about causing a scene at work. The old me would have agreed to talk privately just to make him leave. But something had fundamentally shifted inside me after watching those group chat screenshots. Reading him brag about putting me in my place and knowing he expected me to come crawling back changed everything. I looked him dead in the eye and told Malcolm, very clearly, that we were done. Not taking a break, not working through issues, but completely finished. His face went through about 5 different emotions in 10 seconds. Confusion, disbelief, anger, then this weird, fake laugh like I was obviously kidding. "You don't mean that," he stammered. "You're just really upset right now, which I totally understand, but we've been together for 2 years. You can't just throw that away over something this stupid." I explained that making out with his ex while his friends filmed it wasn't stupid. It was deliberate humiliation. That his group chat messages showed exactly how he really felt about me. That showing up drunk at my apartment at 3 a.m. wasn't romantic, it was disrespectful and honestly, kind of scary. Malcolm got defensive immediately. Those guys were just being guys. You know how group chats are. We say stupid stuff to impress each other. It doesn't mean anything real. He claimed the kiss with Sabrina was just him being drunk and showing off, nothing more serious than that. But here's what really sealed it for me. When I mentioned feeling scared when he showed up drunk, he actually rolled his eyes. "Come on, you know I would never hurt you. Stop being so dramatic about everything." The fact that he dismissed my feelings about his drunk 3 a.m. visit, that he literally trivialized my fear, told me everything I needed to know. This man does not respect my boundaries, my feelings, or my basic sense of safety. And he never will, because in his warped mind, I'm just being dramatic and oversensitive. I turned my back and walked away from him, leaving him standing there in that lobby. I just turned around and went back to work like he wasn't even there. Through the window, I watched him stand there for another 10 minutes, probably waiting for me to come back out and resume the conversation. When I got home that evening, my sister Celeste had left me 3 voicemails. Apparently, Malcolm had called her, asking if she could talk some sense into me. He told her I was having some kind of breakdown and needed family intervention to see reason. Celeste was furious. She said Malcolm explained the whole party situation like he was the victim of my jealousy and controlling behavior. According to him, I'd had a complete meltdown over innocent flirting and was now punishing him with silence. But here's the beautiful part. Celeste was actually at Curtis's party. She saw the whole thing happen. She watched Malcolm kiss Sabrina while his friends chanted and filmed. She saw how humiliated I looked walking out. So when Malcolm tried to rewrite history and make himself the victim, she shut that down real fast. She told Malcolm that what she witnessed wasn't innocent flirting. It was public humiliation of his girlfriend for entertainment. She told him that any man who would do that to someone he supposedly loved had serious problems, and that if he ever called her again trying to manipulate family members, she'd have some choice words for him. Malcolm apparently did not take this well. Celeste said he started arguing with her, insisting she didn't understand the full context and that I'd been controlling and jealous for months. When she wouldn't agree with him, he accused her of enabling my dramatic behavior. That conversation happened yesterday. This morning, I woke up to a text from Malcolm's mom. Hi, sweetie. Malcolm told me you two are having some problems. I was hoping we could grab coffee this weekend and talk about working things out. You know how much Malcolm loves you. And that's when I realized Malcolm's master plan. He was calling in reinforcements. His mom, my sister, probably planning to get our mutual friends involved, too. He thinks if enough people tell me to forgive him, I'll crack under the pressure and go back to being his doormat girlfriend. What Malcolm doesn't understand is that I'm not the same person who apologized after his last joke. I'm not the girl who blamed herself when he flirted with my sister. I've been planning something since Sunday, and it's almost ready. He wants to play games and involve other people? Perfect. Two can play that game, but he's not going to like my version nearly as much as his own. Tuesday is going to be very interesting. Second update, I am shaking with rage right now, but also, I have to admit, kind of impressed with how this all played out. So, remember Malcolm's mom wanting to grab coffee? Well, that was just the beginning of his master manipulation plan involving both our families. Saturday morning, I'm at Target buying groceries when my phone rings. It's my mom. She sounds worried, asking if I'm okay, because she just got off the phone with Malcolm's mother. Apparently, Malcolm told his parents that I'm going through some kind of mental health crisis and refusing to communicate about our relationship problems. I took a deep breath and explained the entire party situation to my mom. The kiss with Sabrina, the filming, the group chat messages, everything. My mom listened and then, slowly, she got absolutely livid. She told me Malcolm's mom had painted a completely different picture, where I had a jealousy-fueled breakdown over innocent socializing and was now punishing Malcolm with cruel silence. My mom immediately called Malcolm's mom back. I could hear both sides of this conversation because my mom put it on speaker. Malcolm's mom started with how concerned she was about my emotional state and how Malcolm was devastated that I wouldn't even discuss working through our problems. My mom cut her off, sharp and clear. She explained what actually happened at that party. The public humiliation, the deliberate kissing, his friends chanting and filming my reaction. Malcolm's mom went quiet for a long moment, then said, "That's not the story Malcolm told them at all." According to Malcolm's version, I got irrationally jealous when his ex showed up at the party. I caused a huge scene over him being polite to her, then stormed out dramatically when he gave her a friendly hug goodbye. His friends were laughing at my overreaction, not participating in any humiliation. The Instagram posts were just him blowing off steam after I refused to answer his calls. My mom was incredulous. She asked Malcolm's mom if she really believed her son would lie about something this serious. There was this long, agonizing pause. Then Malcolm's mom said she trusts her son. And maybe there are two sides to every story. That's when my mom lost it. She told Malcolm's mom that if her son thinks public humiliation is appropriate relationship behavior, then maybe she failed as a parent. That any mother who defends her adult son kissing other women in front of his girlfriend clearly raised him to disrespect women. Malcolm's mom promptly hung up on her. Sunday afternoon got even worse. My dad called and said Malcolm showed up at our house wanting to talk to him, man to man, about the situation. My dad was working in the garage, and Malcolm just appeared there, uninvited, acting all respectful and concerned. Malcolm told my dad that I've been struggling with jealousy and trust issues for months, that he's been trying to be patient and understanding, but I've gotten increasingly controlling about his friendships with women. The party incident, he claimed, was just me finally snapping over normal social interaction. My dad, who didn't know the full story yet, listened politely as Malcolm explained how much he loved me and wanted to work through my insecurities together, how he's willing to go to couples counseling and do whatever it takes to help me feel more secure in our relationship. Then Malcolm had the audacity to ask my dad to talk to me about giving their relationship another chance, saying he knows I respect my father's opinion and might listen to him when I won't listen to anyone else. My dad, ever the calm one, told Malcolm he'd think about it and get back to him. After Malcolm left, my dad called me, confused about why Malcolm seemed so genuine and concerned if he really did what I described. I drove over to my parents' house immediately, sat down with both of them, and told the entire story from beginning to end. The months of boundary testing, the deliberate flirting, the kiss with Sabrina while his friends filmed, the group chat messages bragging about putting me in my place. My dad's expression changed completely as I was talking. By the time I finished, he was absolutely furious that Malcolm came to their house and lied directly to his face. My mom then showed him the screenshots Celeste forwarded from the group chat. My dad read Malcolm calling me a psycho girlfriend and saying I'd come crawling back, and he completely lost his mind. He called Malcolm immediately and put it on speaker. Malcolm answered, all cheerful, thinking my dad was calling to help convince me. My dad cut right to the point and asked Malcolm to explain the group chat messages about putting me in my place. Malcolm stuttered for a second, then claimed those were just guy talk and didn't mean anything serious. That men exaggerate in group chats to sound tough, but it's not how they really feel. He said he was hurt and venting to his friends after I walked out on him. My dad asked about the video of him kissing Sabrina. Malcolm claimed it was just a quick friendly kiss that looked worse on camera than it actually was, that his friends were drunk and being idiots with their commentary, but he can't control what other people say or do. Then my dad asked the question that broke everything wide open. He asked Malcolm why he lied about what happened when he came to their house. Why he told a completely different story that made me look jealous and unstable instead of admitting he kissed another woman. Malcolm got defensive immediately. He says he was trying to protect my reputation by not telling my parents how badly I overreacted, that he didn't want them to think less of me for causing such a dramatic scene over nothing. My dad's voice was like ice. He told Malcolm that lying to my parents to manipulate them into pressuring me is not protecting my reputation. It's manipulative BS, and that any man who would humiliate his girlfriend publicly then lie to her family about it is not welcome in their house ever again. Malcolm started arguing that my dad doesn't understand the full context, and that I've been telling a one-sided story. He whined that if my dad really knew how controlling and jealous I'd become, he'd understand why Malcolm was at his breaking point. That's when my dad completely unleashed on him. He told Malcolm that even if everything he claimed was true, kissing another woman in front of your girlfriend is never acceptable relationship behavior. That real men break up with women they're unhappy with instead of publicly humiliating them for entertainment. Malcolm tried to interrupt, but my dad cut him off. He said that lying to parents to manipulate their daughter shows exactly what kind of character Malcolm has. That any man who would do that is a coward who can't face the consequences of his own actions. The call ended with my dad telling Malcolm never to contact our family again and hanging up on him. Then I woke up to 31 text messages from Malcolm. And guys, this man had completely lost his damn mind. The messages started around 2 a.m. and continued until 6 a.m., a pure stream of consciousness desperation. Asterisk, your parents have completely turned against me now, thanks to your lies. I never lied to your dad. I was trying to spare your feelings. You're destroying everything good we had together over one stupid mistake. I'm losing my mind without you and can't eat or sleep. Everyone I care about is choosing your side without hearing mine. Asterisk, but then, around 4 a.m., the messages took a darker turn. Asterisk, you've made me look like a monster to both our families. I trusted you with everything, and you're using it all against me. 2 years of my life completely wasted because you can't forgive one mistake. I don't even recognize who you've become. Asterisk, the final message at 6 a.m. just said, I'm not giving up on us no matter what you do. Wednesday evening, Malcolm showed up at my parents' house again. My dad saw him through the window and called me immediately. I drove over there and found Malcolm sitting on their front porch, refusing to leave until someone talked to him. I walked up to him and asked what the hell he thought he was doing. He told me he'd been sitting there for 2 hours waiting for someone to come home so he could explain his side properly. Malcolm started talking rapidly about how everyone has turned against him based on incomplete information, that the group chat messages were taken out of context, and the kiss with Sabrina was just drunken stupidity, not deliberate cruelty. That he'd been in love with me for 2 years and would never intentionally hurt me. I cut him off. Intentional or not, you did hurt me. Your actions had consequences, and now you have to live with them. Malcolm got more agitated and said I was being completely unforgiving about one mistake that happened when he was drunk. He asked me to look at everything good about our relationship instead of focusing on one bad night. He reminded me of trips we took together, holidays with each other's families, plans we made for the future. He actually said 2 years of love and commitment should count for more than 15 minutes of poor judgment. But here's the thing that really gets me. He still wouldn't take full responsibility. It was always poor judgment, or a mistake, or one bad night. Never. I deliberately kissed my ex to hurt you, or I let my friends film your humiliation for entertainment. My dad came outside and told Malcolm he needed to leave their property immediately. Malcolm started arguing that he had a right to try to save his relationship and that my dad was interfering in something that's none of his business. My dad stepped closer, his voice low and dangerous. He told Malcolm that when he lies to parents to manipulate their daughter, it becomes their business. That Malcolm made it their business by involving them in his scheme to pressure me into forgiving him. Malcolm finally left, but not before turning to me and saying, "This isn't over between us." That he knows I still love him, and eventually I'll realize I'm throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me. Malcolm genuinely believes he's the victim in this situation. In his mind, I'm destroying a good relationship over one minor incident that I'm blowing completely out of proportion. But you know what? I've been working on something since this all started. Something that's going to show Malcolm exactly who he's been dealing with this whole time. And after watching him manipulate both our families this week, I'm more motivated than ever to make sure he gets exactly what he deserves. The trap is almost ready. Malcolm thinks he knows me, but he has no idea what I'm really capable of when someone pushes me too far. Last update asterisk. Guys, I cannot believe what just happened. Remember that trap I mentioned? Well, it went down yesterday and Malcolm's entire world just imploded in the most beautiful, spectacular way possible. I'm still buzzing from the adrenaline and, honestly, feeling like the absolute queen I know I am. So, here's what I've been planning since this whole nightmare started. Malcolm thinks he's smart with his manipulation tactics, but he made one crucial mistake. He underestimated exactly how smart I am and how well I know his patterns. See, Malcolm has this thing where he can't resist bragging about his conquests. Always has. He filmed the whole Sabrina kiss situation because he gets off on having proof of his power over women. And I knew, absolutely knew, that he'd saved videos from that party. Thursday afternoon, I texted Malcolm asking if we could meet up to talk, not to get back together, but to have an honest conversation about where we went wrong so we could both move forward. He responded within 30 seconds, saying yes, and suggested we meet at the coffee shop near campus, where we had our first date. I told him that was too public and emotional for this kind of conversation. What if we meet at his apartment Saturday afternoon, so we can talk privately without interruptions? Malcolm agreed immediately, probably thinking I was finally ready to come crawling back, just like he predicted. Saturday, I showed up at Malcolm's place at 2 p.m. He'd clearly put effort into his appearance, showered, nice shirt, even cleaned his normally messy apartment. He offered me coffee and asked how I'd been holding up, all concerned and caring, like he wasn't sending me unhinged text messages at 4 a.m. I told Malcolm I'd been doing a lot of thinking about our relationship, and I wanted to understand his perspective on what happened. That maybe I did overreact to some things, and I wanted to hear his side without interrupting or getting defensive. Malcolm's whole face lit up. He started explaining how he never meant to hurt me, and how the party situation got completely out of hand due to peer pressure and alcohol. That kissing Sabrina was just him being stupid and showing off, not any kind of deliberate betrayal. I nodded along, feigning understanding, and asked follow-up questions. What exactly were his friends saying that made him feel pressured? How did the kiss with Sabrina actually start? Was there anything leading up to it that I missed? Malcolm got more animated as he talked, clearly feeling like he was finally getting through to me. He explained how Dean and Randall kept joking about him being whipped and under my control. How they dared him to prove he wasn't afraid of me by flirting with other women. Then he tells me something I didn't know before. Apparently, the whole thing was planned. Dean had texted Sabrina earlier that week and invited her to the party specifically to mess with our relationship. They thought it would be hilarious to see how I'd react to her showing up. I acted surprised and hurt by this revelation. I asked Malcolm why he went along with a plan designed to humiliate me. He got defensive and said he didn't know about Dean's plan until that night, and by then he was too drunk to think clearly. Malcolm explained that when Sabrina started flirting with him, his friends began filming and egging him on. That he felt trapped between disappointing his friends and disappointing me. So, he made a split-second decision that he immediately regretted. I told Malcolm I appreciated his honesty and I was starting to understand what really happened, that maybe I was too quick to judge the situation without knowing all the facts. Malcolm relaxed completely, probably thinking he'd successfully manipulated me back into forgiveness. Then I asked the question I'd been building up to. I told Malcolm that my friends had been asking me what really happened that night, and I wanted to be able to explain it accurately. Do you still have any videos from the party that might help me understand exactly how everything went down? Malcolm hesitated for a second, then admitted he had some videos on his phone. He said his friends sent him clips from that night, but he hasn't looked at them because they're too painful to watch. I asked if we could watch them together so I could see what he saw and understand his experience better. Malcolm wavered, clearly uncomfortable, but eventually agreed. He said maybe it would be good for both of us to face what happened honestly. He pulled out his phone and opened his photo gallery. There were at least 15 videos from that party. We started watching them together. And guys, they were so much worse than I even remembered. The first few videos show Malcolm dancing with other women while I'm standing nearby, looking uncomfortable. You can hear Dean and Randall making comments about testing my limits and seeing how much I'll tolerate. Then we get to the videos of Malcolm with Sabrina. There's one where he's clearly groping her ass while she grinds against him. Another where he's whispering in her ear while staring directly at me across the room. You can hear his friends laughing and saying things like, "She looks pissed and this is so good." The kiss video is the worst part. It shows Malcolm grabbing Sabrina aggressively and kissing her with obvious passion. The video captures Dean and Randall chanting, "She deserved it," while pointing their cameras at me. You can see me in the background, looking absolutely destroyed. But here's the part that makes my blood boil. There's a video after I left. Malcolm and Sabrina are making out again, more intensely this time. He's got her pressed against the wall with his hands up her dress. Randall is filming, and you can hear him saying, "Post this sh*T. She needs to see what she's missing." As we're watching these videos, Malcolm keeps trying to minimize what I'm seeing. It looks worse on camera than it felt in person. I was so drunk, I barely remember this happening. The guys were just being stupid with their commentary. After we finished watching, I looked at Malcolm, my eyes cold. I told him those videos show deliberate, calculated cruelty, designed to humiliate me for entertainment. That there's no amount of alcohol or peer pressure that excuses that level of disrespect. Malcolm immediately started backtracking. He claims the videos don't show the full context and that I'm misinterpreting what I'm seeing, that he was drunk and confused and not thinking clearly about how his actions might affect me. I told Malcolm I appreciated him showing me the videos because now I have a complete picture of what really happened. He looked confused and asked what I meant by that. That's when I pulled out my own phone and showed him that I've been recording our entire conversation. Every word of his planned humiliation confession. Every admission about going along with Dean's scheme. Every moment of him minimizing and excusing his behavior while the video evidence played. Malcolm's face went completely white. He started sputtering about how I tricked him and recorded him without consent. I reminded him that we're in a one-party consent state, and I have every legal right to record conversations I'm part of. I told Malcolm that his confession, combined with his own videos, paint a very clear picture of who he really is. that I now have proof he participated in a deliberate plan to humiliate me, then lied to both our families about what happened. Malcolm started panicking and asking what I planned to do with the recording. I told him he's about to find out. Then I started a group text with both our parents and hit send on a message I had pre-written. The message explained that I've discovered the party incident was a planned humiliation orchestrated by Malcolm and his friends. That I have video evidence and a recorded confession proving he lied to both families about what really happened, and that I'm attaching the relevant clips so everyone can see the truth for themselves. I attached the kiss video showing Malcolm passionately making out with Sabrina while his friends chant about me deserving it. The video of him groping her after I left, and key excerpts from our recorded conversation where he admits to going along with Dean's plan. Malcolm started freaking out. He was grabbing for my phone, trying to stop me from sending more messages, begging me to delete everything and talk about this privately, saying his parents will never forgive him if they see those videos. I told Malcolm he should have thought about that before he participated in humiliating me for his friends' entertainment. That actions have consequences, and now he gets to face them. My phone started buzzing immediately with responses from both families. My mom texts, "I'm so sorry you went through this, sweetheart. We're coming over right now." My dad just sends, "That piece of SHT is dead to us." But Malcolm's parents' responses are what really make this perfect. His mom texts, "Malcolm, come home immediately. We need to talk." His dad sends, "I'm disgusted by what I just watched. You're not the son we raised." Malcolm was having a complete meltdown at this point. He's begging me to call our parents and tell them the videos are fake or taken out of context, offering to do anything I want if I'll just help him fix the situation. I told Malcolm there's nothing to fix because this is exactly what he deserves. That he made his choice when he decided to publicly humiliate me for entertainment, and now he gets to live with the consequences. Malcolm started getting angry then, saying I'm destroying his life over one mistake and that I'll regret this when I realize what I've thrown away, that he's going to tell everyone I'm a manipulative psycho who records private conversations to use against people. I just laughed. I told Malcolm that everyone already knows exactly who we both are now, that he can try to spin this however he wants, but the videos speak for themselves. As I'm leaving his apartment, Malcolm follows me to the door, still begging and making threats. I turn around and tell him this is the last time we'll ever speak. That if he contacts me, my family, or anyone in my life again, I'll be filing harassment charges. The drive home was incredible, guys. I felt so damn powerful and in control, like I'd finally gotten justice for all the times Malcolm humiliated me, and I just took it. When I got home, my parents were waiting for me. They both hugged me so tightly and apologized for not fully understanding how bad the situation was. My dad said he's proud of me for standing up for myself and exposing Malcolm's lies. My mom said she called Malcolm's mom after seeing the videos. Apparently, Malcolm's parents are mortified by his behavior and planning to have a serious conversation with him about respecting women. But the best part came later that evening. Celeste texted me screenshots from the group chat with Curtis, Dean, and Randall. Apparently, word got out about the videos, and now everyone who was at that party knows exactly what kind of person Malcolm really is. Malcolm has been silent on social media since yesterday. No posts, no stories, no responses to comments. And you know what the most beautiful part is? I didn't have to do anything illegal or unethical to get my revenge. I just used Malcolm's own behavior and words against him. He destroyed himself by being exactly who he's always been, a manipulative jerk who thinks he's smarter than everyone else. To all the commenters who said I should forgive him and work things out, screw that. Some people don't deserve forgiveness. Some people deserve to face the full consequences of their actions. Malcolm is one of those people. I'm done being the understanding girlfriend who gives second chances to men who don't respect me. I'm done letting people treat me like trash because it's easier than standing up for myself. Malcolm thought he could humiliate me publicly and then manipulate our families into pressuring me to forgive him. He thought I was weak and desperate enough to crawl back to him like I always had before. Malcolm wanted to put me in my place. Well, congratulations, Malcolm, because my place is clearly several levels above his manipulative, lying ass. Seriously, I'm dying to know. What would you have done in my place after watching those videos and hearing his disgusting confession? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear what you think.